Hi everybody, this is Clarine from In Reenie's room, and today we're going to be making a tunnel card, and this is what it looks like. This is the front, here's the sides, and here's the back. Plenty of room for a nice sentiment. Okay, now I originally saw this done by Sam Calcutt, and she made hers with Snoopy's, and it was so cute. So I thought, well, I want to give it my own little flavor. So I picked a day by the ocean. So let me show you what I did, and we'll get started. So I took her measurements and drew up my own templates. Got a bunch of fish. This is going to be the front page, and then here's all my ephemera. I got these, the ephemera from a digital kit called Little Fishy Island. It was made years ago by Lorie, who used to design for the studio. So what I did was I cut everything out ahead of time. So let me give you the measurements for what we're going to be doing today. We're going to start with the back, and you're going to need two pieces that are 8.5 by 6. And on the long side, you're going to score it 6 and 8. So let me go ahead and fold and burnish these two edges. Like that. And I'll set this one aside. That's going to be the back. And we're going to be working with the front first. This is regular standard cardstock, 65 pound. So we'll leave that here for a second. And then we'll cut out our front piece, which is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you're just going to cut one of those. And then we're going to cut out two pieces for the side. And those are 5 3/4 by 1 3/4. I'll set those over here by the back for a minute. And then this is the background. You're going to actually cut two of these. One will be for the background of the card that you see through the window, and then the other one is going to be for the back side. And you'll need two of them, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Those over here for a minute. Then you're going to need 3 strips of cardstock that are for the waves, where your sea creatures are going to be. And there's a one at 7 by 1 1/2, 7 by 1 1/4, and 7 by 1 inches. And you're going to score each one at 1/2 and 6 1/2. I'm just going to fold and kind of tweak those real good here. Put those to the side because we'll be using them in just a little bit. There we go. And then there is another piece that we're going to need for the window. This is oops. Let me get the tissue off. This acetate loves fingerprints, so I tried to protect it. This is going to be for the window on the front of the card. 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. I already outlined it with 1/4 inch score tape. Let me just take that up real quick. Get ahead of the game a little bit. The reason I don't use tacky tape is because, tacky glue, is because it just makes a mess on acetate. You can remove fingerprints and stuff easier, but once the glue gets on there, you're kind of stuck with it. Then the other thing we're going to need to cut is a piece of paper that is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to be for the frame that's going to go around the front. So let's get started. I think that's all our measurements. So we're going to take this first piece, the front, and have your side on the left. And I'm going to center the front piece. And I'm just using tape runner. You can use glue if you prefer. Don't need to put anything in the middle because we're going to be cutting that out. And then we're just going to center this right in that area there. And that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put on the side piece as well. Now in my design, I have kind of a jungle look, so I have to make sure I get the right direction. And I'll center that over here between the two score lines. Right like that. Just burnish that. Okay, now we're going to cut our window out using this inverted scalloped die, and it's 4 1/4, and that's going to go right in the middle here. Let me just center it. I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'll hold it in place with a Post-it. These little Post-its are very paper friendly. You can reuse them a whole bunch. And I'm going to run that through my Big Shot. Whoa. Wow, that's really tight. I'm not going to use the center, so I'll just toss that. I will save my Post-it because you can use those several times. And that's all we need for that. Then I'm going to take this piece of acetate that I had cut out, and I put the score tape around it, and it goes on the inside. And I'm just going to tack it down in place, just centering it, making sure that the tape doesn't show through the window. Then I'll just burnish that. Okay, there we go. Then we've got the front going. So then we're going to take this back piece, and with the side on your right, this edge is going to line up with this score mark that I have up here, score line. And I'm going to use glue for this, because sometimes you have to go a little wiggling back and forth. So I'll put the glue on there. Fold this a little bit, put it right up against that edge. And just press it down. And I'll put a little burnishing over here. Okay, so then we're going to take that piece that we cut out. That's going to be centered right here. So with my design, I wanted the sun in there, so I've got that up on the left, and that looks like it's going to fit in there perfectly. So let me use the tape runner again. I don't know if you've ever used these Easy Runner one before, but it's a little bit wider than the regular tape runners, the smaller ones. So for bigger cards, I like the extra tape on there. Okay, so I put that right in the middle. Burnish it down. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this over and put on my outside side, making sure that I've got my design in the correct direction. And just center that right between those score lines. There we go. And burnish them. You know, it's always important to burnish. That activates the tape. Okay, so that is the shape of your card. And this piece here is going to come right up against the front. Right like that. And then you've got your card. And let's go ahead and put the back on. I really got it kind of far from the edge, so we run another strip there. Okay, now I want the sun again to be up on the left, so I'll just center it between those two score lines. And there we go. That'll be for your sentiment on the back side. Now there's one other thing we need to run through the big shot, and that is the frame that's going to go around this window. So this is that 4 3/4 piece that you cut out. And I'm going to put the inverted scallop right here. Use this little post-it to hold it in place. I want to center that as best I can because that's going to go around the window. So I'll put that over here in the big shot. There we go. I'm not going to use the center for anything. I'll just toss that. And this is our frame, which I want to have a little bit of a rounded edge. So I'm taking this corner punch and using the larger section, turn it upside down. It has 3 sizes. You just make sure that that corner lines up with the punch. And you just punch it out. There we go. And then I'm going to put this on with regular glue. Because it doesn't touch the acetate. Well, it's not supposed to anyway. So I'm just going to run a thin strip along the edge here. Oops. Be careful you don't get any glue on that acetate. Just saw a drop there, so I get that out of the way. And then I'll just start in one corner. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure. Oh shoot, I put glue on the acetate. Darn it. Okay. So I'm just pushing it down gently so that I can make sure that all the scalloped edges are lined up before I put any pressure. And then I'll just scooch that on around. Okay, so that is so not what I wanted to do to my acetate. Anyway, get that wet. If I can get up a lot of it. Not too bad. Not too bad. Would have been better if I didn't do that, but I did it. I think it'll be okay. All right. So we're going to put in our little waves. We have the 3 sizes. We're going to put the longest one first. That's going to go in the back. And then the center one. And then this will be in the front. So to put these in, I'm going to lay this down here. My glue is going to go right here in this tab that we made, making sure that I put it right up against the fold line on the side, but not on that fold. And then we're going to fold this all the way over, and the side is going to pick up this wave. So let me do that. It's the sides that actually attach the wave here. Put that there, making sure that it's lined up on the bottom of your card. Like that, and just short of the score line. And then hold that in place and bring the whole side over. Lining everything up on the bottom here too, because they're all going to lay flat. There you go. And just put the pressure down there. And bring it back and just give it an extra little burnish here. So that is attached on the side piece. And then the middle one, you're going to flip it over. Let me put the glue in here. And you're going to take this edge and butt it right up against that fold. Right like that. Making sure that it goes nice and straight down here. And then fold it over, lining up the bottom edge here. Give it another little burnish there. And then you've got your two waves. See how that's attached? Almost like a little staircase. And then we'll put in the third one. Same thing, we're flipping it over, putting that edge up against the score line, making sure that's lined up on the bottom. Then fold this back. See how I've got that crooked? So I have to bring this down before I burnish that. Bring this down so that the bottom is all lined up. Otherwise your waves will be crooked. So I'll burnish that. Now, since I put the acetate window in there, we have to put our ephemera on first before we glue these sides down and complete the card. So we're going to do that next. I'm going to bring in my ephemera. This is going to be on the front. And I think I'm going to put the sea monster on first because that's the biggest piece. And I know I want him to be in the middle like that, not over near the edge because I want him to be focal point. Okay, so I'm going to put him in the middle, and I'm going to put him in the second one. So I want him to be like this. And you got to play with it a little bit. I want him up higher, like he's riding the wave. So I'm putting my glue on the colored side of the ephemera and kind of eyeballing where the center of that is. So I'll put him right about here. Whoops. Maybe I better leave that like that. And I'll put him right there. And while you're putting on your little pieces, let's see how that looks. Yeah, there he is, right in the middle where I want him. Remember that where these little score lines are, that is what gets attached to the side. So you can't put anything past those little score lines. And let me find his other parts. Now you could put these on with pop-ups, I think would work okay, but it's hard enough just gluing it. And this way, if you just use glue, you can kind of move it around if you have to. So I'll put the middle of him right here. Okay. And then his tail. And of course, this is the most fun, is putting these little guys on. And then there's his tail. Come on, stick on there. You could even use a pair of tweezers if you needed to. Get that guy to stick. There we go. When Sam made hers, she left the front open. So she completed the card and then she worked from the front, which I found just as awkward as what I'm doing here. But I wanted to change the acetate. So next I'm going to put on the lighthouse. And I'm going to put that on the back wave. I'll put that there. Oopsie, tilting. I'll hold him in place for a second, get him to stand up straight. There we go. And then I'm going to put in a couple birds in the background. And I'll use pop-ups for that. So I'll put a pop-up in the middle. I'll have him up here. And when I design my ephemera, I usually have two options, so I can have the birds coming in different directions. And that's what I'm going to do here. And I'll put him about in there. And just kind of look back every once in a while, see how your card is looking. And I like the setup there, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and put the fish in. I'm going to have them all going in different directions. And so I'm going to put this one on the back wave. So I'm putting my glue on the back of this one, down near the bottom, because it's just grabbing that bottom section, and I'll put them right here. Keep them up high. Don't let them get too low or they'll get lost in the waves. And I'll do another one. And this is just, you know, my interpretation of it. You guys, of course, can set it up any way you like. And I'll put this one right there. A lot of glue there. And then this one will be almost in front of the lighthouse, so I'll have him kind of diving down a little bit. Put that back there. And keeping in mind, see when I put that tail in there, I can't go past that score line, otherwise it'll bang against the side and knock it off. We don't want that. I'll put down a couple more fish here. This part probably gets a little boring for you, but I can't put my side on until I get my ephemera in place. And I'm going to put some of these longer guys on that middle. Put that in there. And another one. I love these little monsters. I have some other kits that Lorie made. I'm not sure where she's designing now, but she's awfully clever. And I'll put that one there. And then I'm going to put these others going in the other direction. So I'll put this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, just to show you what you can do, I'm going to cut off the last part of this, so that I can put it very near the edge and still have it showing up. And I'm putting the glue on the bottom part and just short of that little score line. That way he's going to look good over in the corner and he'll just have plenty of room to stay in there. And I'll put on a couple more. Kind of have them going up and down like they're playing in the waves. And there we go. Okay, so then just kind of double check. See how everything's looking, and that's lined up really nice. I'm real happy with those. So now we're going to close it up, lay everything down. Got a lot of glue here. Let me clean it up a little bit. Having that acetate in there, I'm always leery of getting the glue stuck in there again. Okay, so now we're going to close it up. These three strips that we made are all lined up. We're going to put the glue only on the little 1/2-inch tabs that you made. All three of them. Don't go over the edge. Just stay inside the tab. All three of them. And you do it all at the same time. Then making sure that your edge is straight, you're just going to bring this whole side over. And it just picks up that glued waves that you just did. Very clever, huh? Let me bring this back here. Fold it back this way. Gosh, everything's lining up great. Okay, look at that. Oh, you're going to have so much fun putting those little guys in there. Now we're just going to do one more glue section, and that's this final tab. I just bring the glue down here. Kind of hold it in place and bring the card over all the way, and it'll just fit. The edge will go right up against that score line. That, just burnish it. Voila! Can you believe it? How fun is that? Okay, now let's do the front real quick. I'm going to put this little sentiment at an angle. It says, "A day by the ocean does wonders for the soul." So that's going to go right in here. I'm going to put that on with pop-ups. I'll use the bigger ones. And I'm just going to put them in the top corner, because that's the only place they're going to be sticking. Put those out of the way. I'll put that up here. Kind of angle it, getting those corners to stay within my perimeter. And I kind of went over a little bit here. So I'm just going to clip it off by the edge. Now, if you'll notice, I didn't do any burnishing, colored burnishing on the edges of my ephemera or any of that other stuff, because I had so much white. I thought it would be fine just to leave it the way it was. It's kind of totally up to you. If you want to burnish your edges, you could do that. Now I'm going to cut the top of him off, because I'm going to put him right here under the sign. Well, maybe I don't have to cut it off. Yeah, I don't have to cut it off. So I'll just put my glue on the front part, because that's where it's going to be attached. And I'll just put it under here, like that. Oh, got a little glue coming out. And then I'll put one more up at the top. Now this one I am going to have to trim off, because that pop-up is right there. So I'm going to just snip off the back side of his body, and then he'll fit in there. So I'm going to put the glue up on near the top. So as you can see, it's just a matter of kind of gauging where everything's going to go, putting the glue there and popping them in line. Okay. And as long as I've kept you this long, let's just go ahead and finish off the back. I'm going to stick a lighthouse down here. Right in the corner. Fold this so I can put a little pressure on here. And this folds flat for mailing if you want to mail it. I tried to put it in a 6x8 envelope, and it was just a tad too fat and wide. So I ended up putting it in a larger 8x10 and just cutting it down. And then I'm going to put in 2 more seagulls. And get my tinier pop-ups. I'm just going to have them flying around up there. So I'll put one up there. And I've got another reverse direction. And I'll put that one down here. So there's the sentiment on the back. There's our sides. There's the front. And there you have it. Your Day by the Ocean tunnel card. Wow, was that fun or what? Okay, thank you for coming by. Enjoy making yours. Take care.